America's subprime mortgage scandal triggered the global financial crisis, and the world's still recovering from it. What's less known is that Australia too had its own subprime loan scam, the full extent of which is only just emerging. Banks and other lenders abused the system of so-called low-doc loans, which are designed for small business people. They were sold by the thousands to pensioners, single mums and people on welfare, and many investors are still struggling to pay the price of it. Stephen Long has the story.
Major fraud squad detectives raided the business premises of Mortgage Miracles this morning at a shopping complex on Ranford Road, Canning Vale. They seized a truckload of documents and several computer hard drives. It's understood the director of the company, Kate Thompson, was out of town.
In 2007, Kate Thompson was WA Mortgage Broker of the Year. Now she's facing fraud charges.
I was probably earning about $5 million a year. It was great. It was wonderful, but it was all a lie.
It's alleged Mortgage Miracles obtained investment loans for customers by using falsely inflated earnings and assets.
But she wasn't alone, and now Kate Thompson is blowing the whistle on the banks that conspired in Australia's own subprime mortgage scandal.
Hook me up and hook them up to a lie detector test and let's talk. I'll lay my evidence on the table, let's talk. You know, they will fail a lie detector test miserably. They are corrupt, they are protecting each other.
Along with similar claims before a parliamentary inquiry last week, her evidence has the potential to rock the finance industry.
Through a series of emails from banks to brokers, instructing the brokers how to get their deals across the line, make the deal fit. They targeted older people, carers, people on parenting allowance, aged pensions.
The evidence suggests that banks and other lenders tacitly encourage mortgage brokers en masse to make up fictitious stories about customers so they could get loans and to falsify their income.
That 40's the bid.
I do not think there was a bank or non-bank lender that wasn't doing it. From my files alone, I am certain I could evidence every single bank.
The allegations centre on low-doc loans. They were initially designed for the self-employed and small business people, recognising that they can lack documents such as pay slips, group certificates and the certainty of income banks demand for conventional lending. But low-docs became a free-for-all.
They were very tight to begin with. You couldn't do this and you couldn't do that, and eventually they were absolutely shocking. No rules at all. Tell us what we want to hear. Tell us anything.
As banks competed aggressively to sell their loans, the pitch to the brokers was persuasive.
No docs, no problem.
Self-employed for a day.
One day ABN.
No ABN required.
No assets. Wow. Need to ask what they earn. Take what they say without proof.
Well, it's really a roll call of all the major banks. We've got Macquarie in there. We've got Westpac, NAB, ANZ, Commonwealth. They're all represented in here.
Consumer activist Denise Brayley has dedicated herself to exposing the scandal. And what's this one-day ABN?
Well, that's the whole point of why we're saying it's so fraudulent, because low-docs were supposed to be for 2 years self-employed, and here they're saying, yes, but ignore that, sign up anyone, whether they're on a pension, and get them an ABN number by going online and putting the number on the form.
So as long as they've had a business number for one day,
yes,
they can get these low-doc loans supposedly for business people?
Yes, and the bank would automatically approve it.
How many genuine one-day self-employed people do you have? In 8 years of finance broking, I only ever met one real person.
On the Pacific Highway, just south of Newcastle in New South Wales, is the home of Michelle Matheson, a single mother of 3. A few years ago, juggling bills, she contacted a local business that said it could help people manage their money. The advisor who saw her was in fact a mortgage broker.
He then took me down the path of purchasing a home, and unfortunately I guess the journey along the way has been quite abhorrent, to be quite honest.
What was your income at the time?
As a sole parent at the time and working part-time, probably around about the $24,000 mark, you know, give or take $60 or $70 possibly, like in terms of the actual, accurate income.
So you're a sole parent, 3 kids, $24,000 a year, and you were told you could buy a home.
That's correct, yeah.
The loan application, which she only received recently, said Michelle was a self-employed professional and it grossly overstated her income.
My income has been stated, not obviously by myself, but either by the broker or somebody at the bank, has been stated to be $75,000 per year. The previous year's income was $70,000.
She named the house Hope. The situation was hopeless.
I've taken on 2 to 3 jobs at a time, sold everything to make mortgage payments. I've got credit card debt of close to $30,000 because I've had to put mortgage payments onto that.
The broker convinced Denise's mother to take out a second mortgage.
Mum had to sell her house to stop the auction of this home.
And move to a caravan park. Over in Perth, Kate Thompson recalls the tricks banks taught brokers to get loans across the line, such as calling rising house prices income.
So when we're putting down a customer's income, we were allowed to use capital growth. It was projected income. It's not disposable income, but we were allowed to use it.
These are some of the people caught up in the Low Doc loan scandal.
If you can't trust your bank manager, who can you trust?
Their stories have a common theme.
The loan amounts were wrong. My job was wrong. The amounts I earned was wrong. A small business I had, the valuations was wrong. So the 17 glaring mistakes that they had filled in that I didn't know about.
The head office actually said to me, Mrs. Flower, I have no idea how you got yourself into this mess. You've got $750,000 worth of shares and you've got $13,000 worth of income from rental properties you have rented out. And I said, well, if you can find it, I'll give you half of it because it doesn't exist.
My total loans were $4.5 million with no income and 30-year period, which would take me up to 103.
From around the nation, they gathered in Canberra as senators heard evidence on the Low Doc scandal.
We need a royal commission into the banking sector. They're strong words, but that's what we need, because those figures are clearly wrong.
Denise Brayley says she's received about 500 loan application forms from people in trouble with Low Doc loans, and not one is clean. The figures fudged, the details forged by brokers or bank officers themselves.
6 or 7 of those bank officers actually used to come into my office and write up the applications themselves. Fudged figures, yes, they make it fit. And that's what they were telling us to do, and they were prepared to do it themselves. They were doing it themselves. They knew the game. These people are losing their homes. There is nothing now I can do except tell it like it is.
Stephen Long reporting.